Watkins Glen as take a look at Casey Mears in the 13, making his way around in that Geico Chevrolet. Up the hill comes Casey, and it's a pretty big hill that you throw the S's into, and then a pretty long straightaway, and then you got to the bus stop.
Yeah, now this is the fastest area in the racetrack without a doubt, near 180, 185 miles an hour into the braking zone of the bus stop. You see a hard right-hand turn, then a left down to about 85, 83 miles an hour. Try to get a little throttle into the car before you enter the carousel. This is just a long, sweeping corner, Jeff.
This corner lasts forever. You can't see the exit by any means. It's just, you can't see it till you're there. You have to jump this curve. If you don't use that whole curve, you're not using enough speed. Do that long right-hander. Heavy braking zone for 90-degree left. Accelerate hard. Now you got to get back to the left to set up turn 7. Turn 7 leads to the front straightaway.
And that front straightaway that Casey Mears is going to not run because he's going to come to the garage here on cue. We were
talking about it.
It was going to be a great run down the front stretch too, by the way.
We actually have a camera on his car that's on the axle, but we can't show it right now because it overheated our camera.
Yeah, so look at the brake rotor. He's obviously on the brakes now. The brake rotor is just glowing red. But also look to the right.
It's the brake rotor right there on that wheel.
And look to the right. That's the headers. So the headers are so hot, the exhaust coming out has the headers glowing red as well.
They're not normally red.
See the heavy braking, the sparks flying off of it, how red it gets. And then as he accelerates, the redness goes away in the rotor, but the redness grows in the headers.
Let's go back into the garage.
We are standing by with Danica, who's getting a bit of refreshment, but not really what you wanted to be doing here. Tell us what happened as you were heading toward the bus stop.
Yeah, the brake went to the floor, so I hit it, and there was just a little bit of pressure, and then it went straight, and then I pumped it again, and it happened so suddenly. I mean, it was, if you're going to lose the brakes, the best place to lose the brakes is in the bus stop, because you can just go straight. But like I was just saying to you, I think this is karma for me watching Brad's interview and thinking maybe he's being a little dramatic, and, you know, if that would have happened at turn 1, then it would have been a different story. So it sure seems like some smoke was coming out, and also that the pedal was gone so fast, and all of a sudden there was no indication of any heat being an issue, that it seems like a line got cut somewhere. I don't know, but I mean, it's aggressive here with hitting the curbs at the bus stop. They're more aggressive than they used to be, as well as the exit of the carousel. It's not 2 wheels over, it's 4. So, you know, it's I was hitting the jack stop in the first run, so you know, it's just really hard on the car around here. So I don't know, it seems like a line was cut in some way, somehow, some form, but I guess if I'm going to lose the brakes, I'm really glad it was at the bus stop.
You can look on the bright side there, and she'll never call Brad overly dramatic again, right?
Well, fortunately for her, where she happened, it wasn't dramatic, because remember, down the long back straightaway is the fastest part of this racetrack, but there's a huge amount of runoff. Because of that inner loop being put in, there's an exit. You can go through the inner loop, and it has a place where you can get the car slowed down. So she's right. If you're going to have that happen on this racetrack, that's exactly where you want to have it happen.
Marty.
Well, Rick, of course, a lot of talk this week about this guy, Chris Buescher, the winner at Pocono on Monday. I asked Bob Osborne, his crew chief, said, you guys had a chance to celebrate? He said, no, it was Monday. We didn't have much of a time of a turnaround to get here to Watkins Glen and get ready for the road course this weekend. I asked him what will happen for the rest of the regular season races. How will they be played now by the 30-14? He said, you know, at times this year we would bring a Roush car. Other times, most of the year, we would bring a front row motorsports car that they built in-house, and they had the chassis delivered to them from Roush. But for the rest of the regular season, they will get full Roush support, full Roush cars, chassis, bodies, engine support, engineering support, everything. They're going to do everything they can. Chris Buescher has just 6 points to make up. That's all he needs to get in that top 30 and make it into the chase. And Steve, you know that full support from an organization like Roush for a team like Front Row, that means everything, doesn't it?
Normally I would say yes, and I think it will for the 34 car, but you have to remember that Chris Buescher is the only car that's won. When you look at the Roush fan organization, I've found some, they've improved with the different cars. With Chris Buescher last week at Pocono, Rick, he's the first car that has had any sort of Roush Fenway support that's made victory lane.
You go back to what took place, Bob Osborne on top of the pit box, the fog rolling in at an opportune time for Chris Buescher. They brought him onto pit road. The red flag came out, and after waiting almost an hour for the fog to clear, it never did, and it actually poured rain before that fog ever cleared up. So that puts Chris Buescher in a position to where if he can gain the 6 points now on 30th to get into the top 30, he will have a spot in the chase at season's end.
Hey, Rick, the big deal is right here's the cut line. Well, as soon as you move Chris Buescher up, Kyle Larson, he now moves below the cut line. So now Jamie McMurray's the only one safe. They mix Kyle Larson 9 points behind Jamie McMurray. You know, Casey Kane has a ways to make up. You know, he's basically 29 points behind Jamie McMurray currently. So, you know, if Chris Buescher can make up these 6 points, and I agree with what Marty's saying. I was hard on Raj Fenwick. That bigger organization will improve the 34's running without a doubt. And if he can make up those 6 points, the stress is going up. And not to mention, we're here at Watkins Glen, Jeff. We get another new winner here this week at Watkins Glen, or perhaps Bristol. Ricky Stenhouse very good at Bristol. It could completely change the complexion of this chase.
It definitely could. And then, you know, listen, everybody acts like this team will easily make the top 30. Well, the 31st for a reason.
Right.
Right? And I'm not being ugly, but the fact of the matter is that they, you know, they're 31st for a reason. And it's not as easy as just saying I'm going to just all of a sudden get better and we're going to find our way in the top 30. I'm not saying they can't do it, and I think that they can do it. Chris Buescher is a quality race car driver, an Xfinity champion. Bob Osborne, his crew chief, has won 19 races at the Cup level. They have the talent to do it, but they're going to have to do things different than they've done it to this point, right? Because they are 31st in points. That's after the win.
Right.
So over these next races, they have to be better than what they've been prior to these races if they're going to move themselves into it.
Look at the fastest laps that have been turned. Kyle Busch is at the top of the list. Chris Buescher, he's 30th. David Reagan, the guy he's fighting for 30th, 35th.